Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. We're back again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Talking about the situation, guys. Some news that's going around. I decided to, talk about the story. They're saying that a black trucker was attacked and beat up by a group of white men, some racists, because they got to be racist. If they're white, they just got to be racist automatically. That's the thing about this world. It's insane. It's like if a black man and a black man is arguing and they start to scuffling, right? Nobody say the black guys are racist or full of hate. Nobody say anything. But if a black man have some sort of dispute with a white man, the white man is automatically, you're just a racist. Automatically. No matter what you say, you're a racist. That's the world we live in. Now, I just talked about some fake news about some trucker that went missing. We debunked that. So I wanted to talk about this particular story here because I know these YouTubers are going to spin this. They're going to spin the narrative that, the black guy, the trucker was in a sundown town and, the rednecks came for him and, it is what it is. They just don't like black folk. Here come Ringo, he's the sellout. He's always defending white people. No, I don't defend white people. I defend the truth. So they're saying that these white guys, flipped over this man's truck. And even though, nobody flipped over his truck, he's the guy filming, and this is what I mean about these stories. Like the way they sensationalize these stories, they tell you that a guy was just so happened to get his truck flipped because the racist rednecks didn't like black people coming over. And, this happened right out in North Carolina, and people are outraged. They taking it to social media. But when it comes to black issues, they never talk about that. I'm still waiting for the introverted warlock to talk about this so he could spin the narrative and say that this was in a sundown town. They were all racist. They wanted to kill a black man. They beat him. Nobody beat anybody. That's a lie. Because the way the report is going on, they saying that a group of white men beat up a black man and they jumped him. That's a lie. So we're going to take a look at the video. I got pretty much the story right here of what went down. And this is basically a one-sided narrative coming from the alleged black guy that claimed he was attacked, right? So we're going to talk about that. And, it is what it is. Let me see what's going on in the comments because I want to make sure that, what the people are saying. Let me see. Somebody says, I hope they get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Damn shame. But do you even know what's going on? Let's have the conversation. So let me get this straight. You don't even know what's going on. You don't know the story. You don't got no context. But you're ready for everybody to get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law as though somebody was murdered. Does that make any sense? Like, did I even start the show? And already you want them to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Do you feel the same way about black community crime? Do you feel the same way about when Tyrone is selling drugs to our uncles and mothers and grandmothers? Do you feel the same? Or is it like a special treatment you give them? Because I didn't even start the show. I didn't even talk about the story yet. And you already want them to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Why? Because they're white? But if they're black, you don't feel that way. Is that what it is? I'm still waiting for you to respond because I'm trying to have the conversation. Do you feel the same way if it was a group of black men arguing with a black man? Would you want the same thing? Because we all know that if it was a black guy pulling up to a drop-off site to deliver some sort of debris and it was all black men beating him up, the black community would not care. You know, they never do. That's why we do these stories, because we try to balance out the playing field, because you're going to see a lot of YouTubers twist the narrative. Now, we know there are racists in the world, but can a white man and a black man have some sort of dispute without it becoming a racist thing? Can we like have a decent dispute, a decent argument, and it just be because of a disagreement? Can we like do that without we pulling the race card for a minute? Like, why is it at any time there's an incident between a white and a black, the white is automatically a racist? Automatically. You know? He ain't even have to say the N-word. By the pure fact he's yelling at a black man, he's a racist. He's a racist. They don't like black people. I don't think you have been in the South long enough, but I've seen white men pull guns on white men in the South. I've seen rednecks pull out guns on other white men on the road, arguing and cussing them out. For some reason, we think that when there's a dispute between white and blacks, it's a race thing. But if you're in the South, it is very common seeing white men arguing with white men. Happens all the time. And they get to throwing blows at each other. You know? Pulling guns. Just that people don't be talking about it because it's not going to make any money on social media. What makes the money is when you talk about white racists attacking blacks. That's what makes the money. Right? So now I'm going to play the video, and then we're going to kind of look at the story and find out what's going on. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. We're going to start off with this video here. No, let me start off. Yeah, I'll start off with, I don't know which video was the first video, but let's just look at this video here and see what's going on with this one.
Leave me alone.
Let's goddamn go.
Leave me alone.
Get in your fucking
Leave
truck.
me alone. Leave me
Get in
alone.
your fucking truck until the cops get
I'm
here.
leaving.
Now. You're being better than fucking phone. Let's go, bitch.
Let's go.
Get in the fucking truck.
Yeah.
Don't get out of the truck no more.
Don't get out of the truck no more?
Take you out.
Yes, the sheriff's department's coming to get
Okay.
rid of you and your fucking mud.
Okay.
So stay in your truck
Yes, sir.
before something
Get
bad
in
happens.
there, man.
Yes, sir.
Get in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Stay in your truck.
Yes, sir.
Do it now.
Yes, sir.
Take all your videos.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, I'm saying, shut your door, shut your mouth.
You're the sheriff? You're the sheriff, right?
Yes.
And you were trying to talk to me. Can I'm gonna draw the
Yeah,
window
I'm
down?
done talking with you. Shut the door.
Can I draw the window down?
No, roll the window up, roll the other window down.
Hey, sir, you slammed the door on my dog. And that's all I'm recording.
I'm gonna put you in
That's
jail.
all I'm recording for slamming on the door.
I didn't slam it on
You
the
the
door.
dog? Yes, you did.
You
Have it
had
on
a hold
recording.
door. Get in the door.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all going to jail. Y'all going down. This town going down. Yeah, this town going down. Man. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, so that first clip, right? I played it without stopping it because I don't want nobody saying, you keep stopping the video. No, I just played the video so y'all could hear it for yourself. So now there's a couple of things that's going on in this video, right? We see that these men appear to be angry about something. At the same time, we don't got no context. We don't know what happened. All we know is that there's a black guy in his truck filming, and for whatever reason, they're confronting him, right? We also seen a situation where the guy slammed the door and it hit the dog's foot, the dog's paw. And you heard the dog barking, which is a cry. And obviously the guy didn't know that the dog was there. So that was a mistake. It wasn't like he deliberately targeted the dog. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, they're going to spin that as well. You know, like, oh, yeah, he's racist. He tried to harm the dog. You know, we need to call these people and prosecute him to the full extent of the law and all this other stuff, right? So now let's look at the next clip, and then we're going to go review all the clips together to kind of make sense of all of this. Then we're going to read what the guy posts on his TikTok, because when you see stories like this, if you get it from a black content creator that is a racist, they're going to spin it to cause public outrage. Now, again, if this was a group of black men, you know, Tyrone, Pookie, Ray, and they on the block, and you pull up in your truck and Tyrone and Pookie flip and be like, yo, get off the block, nobody won't care. Nobody won't care. Y'all seen this many times in the hood where a group of ninjas pull up, act a fool, act all tough and gangster in front of one black guy, and the black community don't do anything about it. There's no public outrage. Nobody cares about nothing. We just act like it don't exist. But when you got a couple of rednecks, you know, hillbillies or whatever you want to call them, and they out there in the South and they confront a black man, automatically they're racist. That's just the way it goes. When you're black, you got to play the victim. You know, we heard this black man saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, 1,000 times, like a raccoon, like a slave. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm like, I'm shaking my head because I'm like, like, why are you talking like that? Why is it that all of these black truckers that are in the South sound like slaves? I just don't get it. And what's the context behind all of this? Because they're saying that somebody flipped over somebody's truck. That's what they're saying. That somebody was going to dump some mulch or some sort of debris or whatever the case is, and they were there too early, right? And these guys got mad and used some trucks to flip the guy's truck over. That's what they're saying. So let's look at the next video clip, and then we're going to kind of break down all of this stuff. If you're in the building, guys, be sure to click the like button if you like the breakdowns, because again, you're going to see other YouTubers that are going to twist this thing into a race issue. That's what they're going to do. They're going to focus on that guy that you see on the screen on the far left. They're going to say he's a redneck. They're going to say that he's a racist. Now, he might be angry and he might have did something wrong within company policy. We're going to get to that later on because the company also issued a statement. Because you all know on the 9 to 5, you can't get out of pocket. You can't get out of character. You can't crash out on the job. You're going to get in trouble. So it could be one of those situations. So we have to basically put all of this stuff together and make sense of all of this. We're not saying that the white guys are innocent. That's not what we're doing. We're breaking down the video so we could get context. Because on social media, they want race wars. Content creators get paid by twisting narratives so you good viewers will take a side. And now it brings out the inner hatred in you. Now, all of a sudden, you want hate. You know, people don't know how to make good content no more. They don't know how to share the news and give a basic understanding of what's going on so that we can get down to the nitty gritty. They just want to promote racism and hate. You know, we got to do business with one another in the world. You know, if I go out and I'm doing business and there's a bunch of white guys, whether they're rednecks, hillbillies, or whatever the case is, if I'm trying to do business, I'm there to do business. I'm not there to be like, oh no, there goes some rednecks. They gon' try to jump me. You know, I live around rednecks. There's rednecks right in my community. You know, there's most likely some racists in the community. But guess what? I don't care. As long as you ain't fucking around with me and my family, we good. Real talk. As long as you show respect, ain't gonna be no problem. You know? But we still gotta respect one another. Now, the language that's used, the way they were carrying on, that's out of pocket. And I'm pretty sure the company gonna have something to say about that. You know? It is what it is. Let me see. No Name says, are you going to play the video or tell us what we should do? Let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna block your ass. Right? Because you're just a no-name dumbass. That's what I'm gonna do. Right? If you don't want to hear what I gotta say, you can leave. Just like if you go into a business establishment, if you don't like the service, you leave. Right? But over here, this is my house, my platform. I'm the host. So if you don't want to hear the truth, bye. Leave. Don't waste your time. And see, that's what I mean, guys. When people come with disrespect, you got to check them. That person, that no-name dumbass, came in here thinking that they run the show. Imagine me going to your house, guys, your property, and I'm in your house cussing, acting the fool. You gonna kick me out your house. You gonna check me. You ain't gonna tell me, oh, I could just do what I want to do. So now we got to find the context of what's going on with this video so we can understand rather than just jumping without no context. Right? So my channel name is Ringo TV Reactions, which means my job is to talk. My job is to share my reaction and give commentary. If you don't like it, you can leave. If you're here just for me to play a video with no context, no breakdowns, why don't you just go to TikTok and stop wasting your time watching me so that you could get deceived by all these fake content creators on YouTube that are pushing lies and false narratives, creating race wars and division. You understand? So let's get to the content. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
Hey, he gonna sue the shit out their ass. Hey, what's going on? This is crazy as fuck. What happened? I'm done. What's going on? What's going on? What's happening?
You driving that truck?
Huh?
Go get in your truck and be a good witness.
No, I ain't driving that truck. I ain't driving that truck.
Phones up. Begin your vehicle. Now. You're leaving. You're gone.
What happened?
You're gone.
Going where?
You're going out.
Who?
You.
For what?
For videoing.
For videoing, I'm going out. What is you talking about?
I'm closing. I'm done.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm done with this shit. Listen, please, cut the phone out and get the vehicle right now.
Hey, he gonna sue the shit out their ass.
Now, let me stop the video right there and start to add some commentary to this. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed that, but I believe the guy in the orange right there, his hand was bleeding. Let me see if I can kind of go back to that section.
Huh?
Go get in your truck and be a good witness.
No, I ain't driving that truck. I ain't driving that truck.
Phones up. Begin your vehicle. Now. You're leaving. You're gone.
What happened?
You're gone.
Going where?
You're going out.
Who?
You.
For what?
For videoing.
For videoing, I'm going out. What is you talking about?
I'm closing. I'm done.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Let me see. Look at his hand. You see his hand? His hand appeared to be wounded. So something went down. Something went down, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I'm not like everybody else. Everybody else is just quick with the race card. Everything is racist. Everybody's a racist. You know, no context, nothing else, just racist. You know? So, his hand appeared to be injured. Now, I don't know if he got bit by a dog. I don't know if something happened with that truck, but if you listen very carefully, they said he tried to run us over with his truck. If you go back, let me go back to the video. Let me do this. Hold on.
Hold on, what's happening?
You drive.
Wait.
I'm done. Close the fucking door. I'm done.
He tried to run him over. Did you hear that? He said he tried to run him over. Listen again.
What's going on? What's going on? What's happening?
You driving that truck?
Huh?
Go get in your.
Hold on, wait a minute. Wind it back some more.
You driving that truck?
Huh?
Go get in your truck and be good with it.
No, I ain't driving that truck. I ain't driving that truck.
Phones up. Get in your vehicle. Now. You're leaving.
Did I pass it?
I'm done. Close the fucking door. I'm done. He's trying to run you over. You ain't over there.
He said he tried to run him over. He tried to run him over. Listen again. Hold on. Where is this thing? Okay.
You driving that truck?
Huh?
He said he tried to run him over.
I'm done. He's trying to run you over. You ain't over there.
So it looked like somebody was in a truck. They probably didn't see somebody, and they tried to run the person over. It could have been a mistake. You know, sometimes somebody could be backing the truck up, don't know what's going on, didn't see somebody in a blind spot, and I don't know. They look like they went and got these bulldozers and went to town on that truck. Now, I don't know how the truck got flipped over because there's no video evidence showing them pushing the truck over. This is what they're saying. So again, you got to have proof. You know, if nobody don't got that video, then I'm not spinning that narrative. Because it could have been a situation where a truck, probably they were removing something, dumping something, and it tilted the truck over by mistake or whatever. Or it could be a situation where they're trying to, I guess, flip the truck right side up. I don't know. That's why you have to review videos and find out context of what's going on, right? So I'm going to wind back the thing from the beginning, and then we're going to break this thing down some more. Again, guys, if you're in the building, be sure to hit the like button. Very important that you do that because you're going to have a lot of lies being spun, you know? Lively Cut says they definitely are racist against him. Racist, you know? I don't know what it is, man, but with black people, man, everything is racist. Why is that? What exactly is racist? Like, I'm trying to figure out what exactly is racist. What did they do that is racist? Like, because they're white. That's it. If you're white, you cannot say nothing to black people because if you do, you're a racist. You know, if I go on your property and I'm a black man and I go on your property and I damage something and you cuss me out, if you do that, you're a racist. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy in today's day. You're just automatically a racist, you know? But let's get back to the content.
Hey, he gonna sue the shit out their ass. Hey, what's going on?
Notice the black guy said, what's going on? So obviously he don't know what's going on. So he's just as lost as all the people on social media. Now think about context, guys. A black guy is on site at ground zero with his camera filming, but he don't even know what's going on. He don't even know what's going on. Now, think about this, guys. We're trying to figure out what's going on, and we're viewing the video. We're trying to view the video, guys. Let me see if I could do this too. Give me a minute. Let me do this. Because I want to make it larger because some of you might be on a cell phone and probably can't see. So let me do this. You know, that's much better, guys. You know, that way you could kind of see a little more. You know, let me get my Brandon in the video. Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay. So we got to get context. Now, at first, I thought that was, I'm not sure if that, I don't know. I don't think that's his dog that's there. It could be. I don't know. Because there was a point in the video where the guy said, you know, get your tail and your dog or whatever out of here. So I don't know if his dog came out the truck and was just running around and bit somebody. I don't know. But I don't see the men jumping. So it could be a dog that's just on site. You know? I don't know. Let me see. Shout out to Joshua Washington for the support. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. So thanks for your great content, Ringo. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. What we're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is break down these videos to give you a clear understanding of what's taking place without promoting race wars and hate. Because a lot of YouTubers, right? They specialize in posting fake news in order to cause public outrage. Now, of course, these are some white men. We get it. If you're in the South, a lot of these white guys, this is how they argue when they're amongst each other. This is how it be at construction sites. It be like this all the time. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's not good. It don't look good when it's on camera. But if they violated company policy, which I'm sure they did, there's going to be some disciplinary action. But to call it racist, that's going over the top. Right? That's going over the top, you know. But let's get to the content. Let's rewind it back and break it down. Be fair and balanced.
Hey, he gonna sue the shit out their ass.
Now, as you can see, that's some other guy's truck that was flipped over by those bulldozers. You know? Now, I haven't found no video yet showing that. Maybe that trucker got a dash cam. Normally, trucks are equipped with dash cams. So it could be a possibility that, you know, he got that information. But let's get back to the content.
Hey, what's going on? This is crazy as fuck, man. What happened?
I'm done. I'm done.
He said he tried to run him over. You weren't over there. He tried to run him over. You weren't over there. And that's the point. These guys are filming, but they don't know what's going on. You see? And that can cause a real toxic situation. When you weren't there, but you want to, you know, share your 2 cents. You know, like a lot of people that come to my live stream and they call me a coon, a sellout because I'm doing commentary. They automatically think that I'm trying to defend the white guy or whatever the case is. This is how it is on social media. You can't be black on social media. You got to just defend killers. You know, you have to defend black people no matter what, even if they're wrong. You're just supposed to do that when you're black. You know? Now, I already showed you that with the black guy that's filming, he didn't even know what's going on. He's asking everybody what's going on. You know? But let's see what he got to say. Let's do that, guys. Let's see what he got to say. Let's look at this, right? Let me take this off. So this particular person, right? Now, his TikTok, let me see if I can get that. I don't know if I have that here. Let me see. Get his TikTok handle. Okay, so this is his TikTok, right? This is the guy's TikTok, right? That's his TikTok right there. So for whatever reason, it looked like he must have signed up under some other account, or somebody took his post and put it on another account, right? But this name here is the original TikTok page with the video clips. Just in case you other YouTubers that love to scam people, like introverted, narcissists, because I know you will be doing a video about this. And I know you're going to say, oh, it was in a sundown town in North Carolina, and the white man and hillbillies and the rednecks, they were out there trying to kill another black man. You know how that is, right? That's how they're going to spin it. But let me just read what it says. It says from his post on TikTok, on June 28th, 2025, I was a delivery. What? Hold on, let me see if it's the same thing, because sometimes these people copy and paste. Let me see. I was doing a delivery of mulch in Clyde, North Carolina at a dump field called TBD dump site. I arrived at the dump site early without knowing that I wasn't supposed to be there that early, which was only 45 minutes before they opened up at 6:30. An employee approached me and told me I was not supposed to be there that early, and told me that normally drivers park up the street and wait until opening time. Now, let's just stop right there, guys. Let's just stop right there. I already see the problem. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys probably see the problem already too. When it comes to places like this, you can't skip the line. You can't just come in and just skip the line and just do what you want to do. You can't do that. And that seems to be the case, where a trucker came in and just kind of skipped the line, because he said that you're supposed to park up the street. So you're going to have a bunch of other truckers parked up in a line. They probably know the rules, but this guy just comes to do his business without following the rules. Yeah, he ain't follow orders, which is a safety concern. There you go. Very safety. It's a major, listen, when you're dealing with heavy machinery, trucks, bulldozers, all of that type of stuff, guys, people got crushed on the job before, died on the job. It's a lot of hazards that can be created. So you need to make sure that not only when you're maneuvering your truck, that personnel is on the scene guiding you, making sure that you're at the right location, and so on and so forth. So the first thing that I see, guys, is that the guy was at the location, number one, too early, right? And he wasn't in the designated area where he was supposed to be. I know this to be a fact because when I was on a 9-to-5, there were certain protocols that you had to follow, and that's just the way it is. Let me see what, Ashan says, so flipping the truck over is not a safety concern. I think you're reaching a little too much. We didn't even finish the topic yet. You're way ahead. Let me check to see if you're a female, because normally a woman would say that. Let me check your profile and see. Let me see, because and if you're a dude, something definitely wrong. You look like you got that black Hebrew Israelite avatar. So you must be a dude. I don't know, bro, but you're moving too fast, man. It's like, like I said, and here's the thing, guy. It's like you're trying to make it seem like I'm saying that them bulldozing somebody truck over, that I'm in agreement with that. I'm not in agreement with nothing. What I'm focusing on is sharing the story within context so that we could get the truth. I'm not here to take no sides. I'm not here to say, oh, the white guy is a racist and the black guy is justified, or they're justified in flipping the truck, or whatever the case is. I'm not here to do all of that nonsense. Y'all trying to pin this on me like I'm here saying it's okay for them to flip the truck over. Flipping a truck over is a safety hazard because you can injure the driver. You can kill the driver because the driver can fall out the window on the passenger side and get crushed by the truck. So I'm not in no way saying that them bulldozing the truck, even though it is all alleged, because we don't have actual video showing it. Now, if they got video on scene, then that's a different story. You know, maybe that'll come out later on. But I don't know if they did that deliberately or if the truck tilted itself over due to the truck backing up in a certain way and it flipped over. Sometimes that could have happened and the trucks are coming near to whatever. I don't know. I don't got that information. Nobody don't know. That's why when you're on social media, you just can't just listen to somebody tell you, yeah, they bulldozer his trucks. And how do you know that? Did you see it happening? No. And if it's true that it did happen, then we'll learn all of that as time goes down. You know? Yeah, there's no evidence that the truck was flipped so far. Right. We don't know yet. It may be true, but we don't know that. I don't know that, so I'm not going to publish that. You know? As a content creator, I'm getting better and better at reporting the news. And what I try to do is stay within context, stay within the guidelines so that the news get shared the right way so that people don't get deceived. Because on social media, a lot of people are deceiving people, creating race wars. I got white viewers and black viewers. I'm not one of those channels that hate white people. You know, you have a lot of YouTubers that are black and they hate white people so much. All their content is race related. And you got to ask yourself the question, what exactly is their goal? Well, we know their goal is to make money, and their goal is also to create hostility between races, you know? So now, let's get back to the post so we can read more. So it says, I wasn't aware because that was my first time dumping at that site. I let him know that, and I told him that I would turn around at that time. It was 15 minutes before it opened up. He told me not to worry about it. We're about to open up. I'm going to open the gate. Just don't come in until 6:30. He left, and shortly afterwards, the owner of the dump site's son pulls up and informs me that because I was the first one in line, I would have to go all the way around and wait for everybody that came after me to get in front of me. And then he will tell me when I can go. Now, remember what I told you guys about that line? Did you see what's going on? We had a quick back and forth, and I just followed his instructions and went around and waited 20 minutes of waiting. He pulled back up to the truck with 5 guys and his pistol. Now, notice he's saying pistol. Now, in the South, especially in North Carolina, you can bear arms. Nobody was pointing a gun in the video. Nobody was pointing a gun, right? But he had to point that out because he's trying to make it seem like when he came up to him, it was to kill him, you know, because they're in a sundown town. That's what YouTubers are going to say. People in the South walk around with their guns. You walk into Walmart, Home Depot, you see people with guns on them. You know, I'm originally from New York, so you ain't see that. But out here, it's all the time. You see that everywhere. I've seen guys pull guns out of their car, road raging with other guys. Right out here in North Carolina. They get at the red light. You got one redneck. He pull out his guns I seen him pull a shotgun, and the other guy had a handgun, and they pulled it out on a white guy. White guy went back in his car, drove off. They went back in their truck, and they drove and turned the corner. They didn't shoot him, but I bet you they made him learn a lesson, because the white guy got out his car and banged their car, and they pulled out guns and told him, you better get back in your car, because it ain't going to be good for you. You see? So it's not like it's not common to see a gun. The guy is just scary. So now he said that 5 guys, wait, let me go back to the top. It says, we had a quick back and forth, and I just followed his instructions, and he went around. I went around and waited 20 minutes of the waiting. He pulls back up to the truck with 5 guys and his pistol hanging from his waistband. He walks up to my truck and says, where is my phone? I know you have my phone. After about 30 to 40 minutes of him accusing me, I let him search my truck. The owner of the dump site pulls up, which is his father. Now, based on what I'm seeing here, is they're accusing him of having a phone. This is what he's saying. Now, this is his account. We don't have the other guy's account. We don't have context, because how could you take someone's phone if you're in your truck? Think about what's going on. He said that they pulled up 5 guys. He has his pistol hanging from his waistband. He walks up to my truck and says, where is my phone? I know you have my phone. After about 30 to 40 minutes of him accusing me, I let him search my truck. See, number one, I would have never let nobody search my truck, because if you're in your truck, that would imply you were outside the truck. So based on what I'm getting, guys, there's way more to this story. You know, there's way more to this story. That means that the man was not in his truck at all times. He was outside of the truck and probably hanging around where these men kept their personal belongings. Now, I'm not accusing the trucker of stealing a man's phone, because with all of that debris, a phone could have fell out the man's pocket, off his person. You would have never heard it. So that phone is most likely in the debris, allegedly, right? Because if he made the man search his truck and there's no phone, then it don't make no point to keep accusing him. But he said they were accusing him for about 30 to 40 minutes, right? So let's get back to the content. So we had a back and forth. He said he followed instructions. He talked about how 5 guys pulled up. One had a pistol hanging from his waistband. Notice, from his waistband, which means the gun was not in hand. He didn't come out with a gun locked and loaded pointing at him. So let's erase that narrative of white racists going after a black man with a gun, because that's a lie. It says that he accused them, right, of, he told him, where is my phone? I know you have my phone. After about 30 to 40 minutes of him accusing me, I let him search my truck. The owner of the dump site pulls up, which is his father. They checked the cameras and they let me go. So now look at that, guys. They checked the cameras. So if they check the cameras should also show if they use bulldozers to knock over somebody's truck. Can I get a witness? So we need to see that footage too. If they checked the cameras should also show, right, if they use those bulldozers to knock over somebody's truck. So we're going to need to see that footage, and it is what it is. So it goes on and it says they checked the cameras and they let me go. I go all the way up to the top of the hill to start dumping my load. While I was dumping my load, he claims that he found his phone outside of the truck on the ground. Now, didn't I just tell you guys Didn't I just tell you guys that with all of that debris that's all over, there's a possibility a phone can drop. You won't hear your phone. I dropped my phone so many times, guys, that I dropped my phone on the yard while working on the yard, mowing the lawn, doing work, and never heard my phone. I'm searching all over the house for my phone. I don't know where my phone is, guys. I'm going crazy, going out of my mind. And, I'm calling the phone. I don't hear the phone. But then we went outside and my wife called the phone and I hear the phone ringing outside on the lawn, bro. Good thing, the way my yard is set up, it's a large area. I believe it's possibly the largest, one of the largest yards in the community, because I'm at the corner, but I couldn't believe it. The phone was outside the whole time. I'm talking about hours after I lost it. About 7 hours passed. And I end up finding it. So he finds his phone, right? He said he found his phone on the ground, right? He found his phone outside of the truck on the ground. So he decides to come back up to the top of the landfill, right? With him and his friends and guns. Now it's guns. See how he twists the narrative? Now he put guns, more than one, right? Implying that these men had their guns ready to harm him. That's a lie. And started to run after my truck and attacked me, opening my door. Okay, so where's the footage? Where's the footage of that? I mean, if you were filming everything, where's the footage of you being attacked and them holding guns? There's no video. There's no video of that. We saw the video, guys. Let's go back. Hold on, guys. Again, if you're in the building, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's look at this video clip. Give me a minute. Let's go back here because, again, I'm not excusing their behavior. If these men were disrespecting this black guy and, falsely accusing him, or if they did anything unethical, damaged property, damaged trucks, whatever the case is, they need to be held accountable, right? So let's look back at the video, and then we're going to get back to the content of reading that situation. Let's go.
Leave me alone.
Let's goddamn go!
Leave me alone.
Get in your fucking
Leave
truck!
me alone. Leave me
Get in
alone.
your fucking truck till the cops get
I'm
here.
leaving.
Now! Get me the fucking phone! Let's go, bitch!
Let's go.
Get in the fucking truck!
Yeah.
Don't get out of the truck no more.
Don't get out of the truck no more?
Take you out
Yes, the sheriff's department's coming to get
Okay.
rid of you and your fucking mud.
Okay.
So stay in your truck
Yes, sir.
before something
Get
bad
in there,
happens.
man. Yes, sir.
Now, he said stay in your truck before something bad happened to him. That's a threat. That's a threat. At the same time, even though it's a threat, it cannot be a threat too. It's twofold. Let me explain it because a lot of people going to twist it. He could be telling him to stay in his truck for his own safety, to try to de-escalate the situation. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's threatening him personally, but it can still come off as a threat to you, the viewer. You see? The people that are viewing might look at it like he's threatening him. It could look like that, yes, but it could also be that he's trying to de-escalate, or at least, I guess, mediate the situation by telling the guy, look, just stay in your truck where it's safe. Don't be out here. These guys are, they bugging out. Just stay in your truck, man, and wait for the law to come in. See, me personally, I wouldn't waste my time arguing with nobody out here, especially where I live in this community. I'm not arguing with no neighbors. I'm not wasting no time. I just let my cameras do all the talking, and I call the law. As long as you ain't on the property doing nothing crazy that's putting me or my family in danger, there won't be no problem. But I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm not wasting my time, never arguing, because you're going to always look bad. And there will always be people that lie, and there'll be false witnesses. If there's any issue, I got cameras everywhere. And then I'll just call the law and let the policeman come and show him the video, tell him what's going on, give all context, and then he'll just do his job. Let the law do their job. I'm not police. You know? So I guess the guy is just telling him, look, stay in your truck where it's safe, which is where he should be, in his truck. You know? You got all these YouTubers making fake videos about truckers going missing and all this mess in a sundown town. All of that stuff is a lie. How come all of these truckers don't got a gun? If you a trucker, you supposed to have a gun. I don't understand how you could be a trucker in 2025 and you don't got a gun. I don't understand that. That don't make no sense. That's why when I hear these stories about all these missing truck drivers and they getting lynched and all this mess in a sundown town, I'm laughing at all of that fake news, because in my mind, I would have 3 guns in my truck. Because there's no way I'm a trucker and I'm on the road all hours of the night and going through all these different towns and doing all this stuff and I don't got no protection. So you got to really think about that, guys. It don't make no sense. But anyway, let's get back to the content.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do it now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm saying, shut your door, shut your mouth.
You're the sheriff? You're the sheriff, right?
Yes.
And you weren't trying to talk to me. Can I'm enjoying the window
I'm
now?
done talking with you. Shut the door.
If you can't carry a gun as a trucker, right, then you're putting yourself in harm's way. Because to be honest with you, if I had a job as a trucker and you telling me I cannot carry my gun for my own personal protection, I don't need that job. I'm sorry. I just can't work there. I can't work there. You know? Because that's almost like you setting people up to die. That's like you're setting people up to die. Things happen on the road where trucks break down in the middle of nowhere and they got to literally get out their truck and see what's going on. So you mean to tell me you a trucker and you cannot bear arms? That's a crime. Y'all need to talk to Donald Trump about that. That's a crime. I don't care what nobody say. Every trucker is supposed to bear arms, no different than when citizens are able to bear arms. That don't make no sense, because that kind of job is dangerous. It's a dangerous job when you're on the road, especially when you're dealing with road rage and various other situations that's going on. Y'all remember the situation with the, what's that rapper? A rapper that died and a trucker, his truck pulled up in front of his car and, the dash cam filled the whole thing. The dude looked like he had an assault rifle. He came out of his car, chased the other brother down and killed him. Right? Now think about that. You a trucker, a car come up in front of you, brake check you, then you got another car pull up on the side, they pull out guns and run up on you as a trucker. You're done. You don't got no way out of that situation because you don't got no gun. See, if you had a gun, you'll be able to defend yourself. At least I know if I'm being attacked or they trying to rob me, at least I know if I'm going to go out, even if I'm going to die, y'all coming with me too. I'm not the only one that's going. You coming with me. If I'm outnumbered by a bunch of guys with guns and I know I got my gun, I'm putting bullets in somebody. Somebody coming with me. I might die, but you coming with me. I'm going to have company. You know? But let's get back at the content.
Can I draw the window down?
No, roll the window up, roll the other window down.
Hey, sir, you slammed the door on my door. And that's all I'm recording.
I'm going to put you in
That's
jail.
all I'm recording, for slamming on the door.
Now, he just said, I'm going to put you in jail for interfering. There has to be more context to this video, which means this guy that's in this truck is most likely not even a part of whatever went down outside that situation. You get it? He's not even a part of it. He's interfering. Now, I don't know what's going on with that story. We need to see more footage. You know? It don't make no sense. Let me see. Trucking companies, job policies, no arms. Yeah, that's crazy. That doesn't make sense, man. Like I said, shout out to all the truckers. I got a lot of truckers that watch my videos. But to be honest, man, that don't make sense. Every trucker should be armed, man. That don't make sense. I'm not no trucker, so I don't know all the policies of what they can and can't do. I've been under the assumption that as a trucker, you can bear arms. Because I'm like, what are you, like, it don't make no sense. You're literally alone most of the time. What you gonna do, call the police? And you in trouble out in the middle of nowhere? That don't make sense. Somebody need to change that. All the truckers are supposed to come together. And they supposed to have training, gun training, because it's not just about you having a gun and you just shooting people for nothing. That don't make sense. We're not talking about you just having a gun. A real gun owner understands gun safety and gun responsibility. It's not about you brandishing a gun, pointing a gun at somebody. It is the peace of mind knowing I got my gun in case something go down. Doesn't mean I'm trying to act like I'm a tough guy, trying to act like I'm Rambo. I want to show off. No, none of that stuff. I'm talking about safety. Your gun is hidden. It's not in the way. You're not doing nothing dumb. That's why I say you have to have training and discipline. Because if not, you'll be out there doing stupid stuff and end up harming somebody for no reason. Right?
I didn't slam it on the dog.
Yes, you did. Have it on recording.
Notice he said he didn't slam the door on the dog. He did, but it was a mistake. That was a mistake. I think we can all agree that he did slam the door. I feel sorry for the dog. At the same time, it was a mistake. He didn't know the dog paw was there. Right? So, yeah.
Get in the door.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all going to jail. Y'all going down. This town going down. Yeah, this town going down.
And then, you know, he's recording everything. This town's going down. So I guess it must be another sundown town. Right? Another sundown town. This town is going down. And that's the narrative that's being pushed. Right? Now, guys, the reason why I got to do these videos is because these YouTubers are going to come on with their version of this. They're going to say the racist whites was attacking black men, calling them racial slurs and various other things. That's what they're going to do. You know? They're not going to say the truth. They're not going to speak the truth. They're not going to give you no context, nothing.
Man.
Bruh, man, need to clean up that truck, man. That truck dirty, bro. Let me go to the other video, then we're going to get back to the other content. Let's go. Let's get to this one. Let me rewind this back.
Hey, he gonna sue the shit out their ass. Hey, what's going on? This is crazy as fuck, man. What happened?
Now, what about that guy's video? That's a black guy right there. You know, what about his video? See? What about his video, guys? So there's more video. We just haven't gotten it yet. Where's his video? We need to see that video. And notice the guy in the orange. Notice how he bends down like that. Something happened. It seems like, you know, like when somebody's out of breath and they tired, like something just happened. Like it could have been a situation where he could have lost his life. Something happened just now, guys. Something happened. He looks tired, like, man, y'all don't understand, man. I nearly lost my life, man. That truck nearly ran me over, man. Like, what the heck is going on? There's more to this story that is missing from this situation. he tried to run him over and he pointed at another guy. So there's another trucker on the other side. What's that trucker's name? Why he's not in the video? This is why you got to get context, man, before you watch these videos. That's why when I do my breakdowns, I try to do them in a way where, you know, we get both sides of the story as much as we can. We're not taking nobody's sides. We're just focusing on the truth. That's it. I'm not here to call nobody racist unless it's racist. You know, I know when something is racist. I didn't see nothing racist in here yet. I just see men arguing. There seemed to be some sort of issue, and it appears to be a white and a black. But just because it's a white and a black doesn't mean you just use the race card all of a sudden.
What's going on? What's going on? What's happening?
You driving that truck?
Huh?
What's going on? What's going on? What's happening? He pulled up, dipping his nose into something he don't even know what's going on. That's why he was approached.
Go get in your truck and be a good witness.
No, I ain't driving that truck. I ain't driving that truck.
And he has his phone out, which probably they don't like. Because it's not like, I don't know how to explain this, because it's not like you could just, you know what? I'm not even going to say that, because, you know, you should have a right to record. At the same time, I don't know what kind of policies they have, because it is a place of business. So maybe those phones don't belong there. If you can understand where I'm going with this, you know, like how you in a public space, it is what it is. You can record, freedom of press, all of that other stuff. But I don't know how that situation work when you're in the site where it's at. You know, I don't know how that go, because they seem to be upset about the phones.
You're leaving. You're gone.
What happened?
You're gone.
Going where?
You're going out.
Who?
You.
For what?
For videoing.
So he said he's going out because he's videoing. Now, I don't know if it's, you know, that he can't do that. I don't see what's the problem, you know. I don't see what's the problem with recording, to be honest with you, unless you got something to hide, you know. But then again, there could be some sort of policies where you're not allowed to have the phone at the location. I don't know. You know, OSHA concerns. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. OSHA concerns. Speaking of OSHA concerns, man, listen, guys, I've seen so many diabolical things happen on a 9-to-5 that would literally make you shake your head, bro. Like, all right, let's just say, for example, it's a true story, no cap. There was a situation at the job where they were doing routine inspections with HUD inspections, right, in New York. And at a particular job site where I worked, the superintendent knew that they were going to fail their inspections, right? So what he did is there was a particular room at the site that had all sorts of violations. They didn't have no time to do the repairs. They had no time. It was just violations like never before. You know what this guy did? He told the maintenance men, the plasterers, and everybody to go there and build a wall. Build a wall so that it blocks off the area that leads to the rooms where all of the hazards and everything is. I'm talking about leaking pipes, sewage, electrical issues, all sorts of major hazards that would fail the development. So they build a wall, they get the drywall, they build everything up. They made it look like there was no entrance, like nothing was there. So when the inspectors came from HUD, they go walking around and he walks to the room where, you know, they did the construction. So the HUD guy is looking in the room and he know, based on his experience, he know something ain't right, because these people are so diabolical. They didn't paint the wall. They just installed the drywall. You see the fresh wall, fresh. Like how dumb could you be? So at the development, you're supposed to paint the wall. So it's very clear that somebody just did some sort of construction, because here's the thing, guys. At NYCHA, they don't use drywall. Those buildings are not built with drywall like that. Not necessarily, like there's some sections of the buildings where they have drywall in certain sections. But for the most part, it's a fireproof complex. So they use a lot of like concrete and various other materials and metal materials within the wall where they do plaster work, right? And they kind of like build these walls up, and it's fireproof. Like normally when a fire happened in an apartment, it stays in the apartment till fire department come there, the firefighters, to do what they got to do. So long story short, the inspector notices the wall, and he's inquiring, like, what is this? When was this wall built? And where is it on documents? Because in the company, you have to document everything. There has to be emails, contractor works. Who did this? So everybody was looking stupid and dumb. Nobody wanted to. He asked for what you call it, a sledgehammer, or one of those. Yeah, I think it's called. No, not a sledgehammer. The that tool you use when it's like a metal. I don't know, a crowbar. He asked for a crowbar. He just went to town on the damn wall, guys. Like literally. Ripped it down. And he said, he just ripped it, and he saw that there was another room. And he was like, why you guys build a wall here? He said, what do you think? I'm not going to find this? You don't think I can see the windows outside of the development? The windows outside of the development. This just shows that the inspector is smart as heck, because before he got into the room, he already saw the windows outside. There was windows going around the corner, which shows that there's a room there. So he breaks a hole through the wall, walks inside there with the other inspectors with all their laptops and flashlights, and he just see all the hazards. Guess what happened, guys? OSHA was called. Everybody came down, and all the big shots, the big boys. I mean, HUD is the big boys in charge. The superintendent lost his job. The management, everybody lost their jobs. Everybody got fined. All sorts of problems. It was a mess. It was one big mess. So maybe they didn't like the fact that the guy had the cameras out, because maybe they had something that they weren't supposed to be doing, you know? But let's get back to the content.
Video when I'm going out. What is you talking about?
I'm closing. I'm done.
Yeah.
No, I'm done with this shit.
So it is what it is, guys. So you see the shirt, dirty hands, something clothing, clean money, knuckle busters. And then again, just because the guy's hand was injured, it doesn't necessarily mean that some foul play happened. It could have been he just got injured on the job, because it says knuckle busters. So, you know, you never know. But let's get back to that article, guys. Let's get back to the article. Find out what that has to say. So it goes on and it says they checked the cameras. We're at the middle of the article here. They checked the cameras and they let me go. I go all the way up to the top of the hill to start dumping my load. While I was dumping my load, he claims that they found his phone outside of the truck on the ground. So he decides to come back up to the top of the landfill with him and his friends and guns, and started to run after me, after my truck, and attack me opening my door. I put the truck and drive to pull off in the mix of me trying to pull off. Now, could it be that within that situation, it could have been where it's kind of confusing to understand what's going on, because it's almost like if when he was pulling off is where he could have allegedly probably almost hit somebody. And I don't know, because it's kind of confusing, because I'm trying to get the context, because we saw a truck with look like what appears to be bulldozers knocking over the truck. But the person who posted the video, it's kind of confusing. You know, is he the one posting this or the guy that was in the truck? Right? It's kind of confusing. But anyway, and so, okay. So I put the truck, I guess, in drive to pull off. In the mix of me trying to pull off, they run and go get 2 bulldozers and flip my trailer. So it looks like there's 2 different stories, 2 different accounts going on here, because the guy on TikTok posts his videos, but it appears that this is the actual trucker talking who was in the truck that got flipped over. And the guy who was filming from TikTok was just putting his nose in their business. That's why he was like, what's going on here? So we're getting 2 different accounts, guys. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Put a 1 if you agree. Put a 1 if you agree that it's making sense now that what we're reading here is the account of the guy that was in the truck that was flipped over, not the guy that had his dog's paw slammed in the door. That's a different story. He was just a witness who was just pulled up and he didn't know. So we're getting the account from the actual driver of the truck that was flipped over. That's probably why there's 2 different usernames. I thought it was the same guy at first, right? So he says they run and go get 2 bulldozers and flipped my trailer and tipped my truck over. Well, I don't think they tipped your truck over. I think your truck tipped over once the trailer tipped over, right? I'm currently looking for an appropriate lawyer to handle this case. And if anybody has any recommendations, may you please tag them under this post or comment appropriate way for me to contact them. Thank you. So he's basically saying they tilt his truck over. Well, that should be on the camera. The same way they looked at the camera and found out that the guy did not steal their phone, the same camera should be able to have the video of them tilting over the truck, right? Here is video of how they were aggressively treating me. I was scared to move because they kept saying something bad was going. See, this is where it gets a little crazy, guys. Because the guy that was filming, now it sounds like the same guy that was filming from TikTok. It's confusing. We need to see more context to this, man. Because this is how false narratives are created. Because how could the guy be in his truck but said they tilt over his truck when he was filming the truck that was tilt over? Make that make sense. You know? It makes no sense. I'm not buying this thing, guys. I need to see more context. Because the same guy that was filming was in his truck. So how he's saying his truck was tilt over when he was filming the truck that was tilt over? We saw the video, guys. We saw the video. You know? Look. You see? He's filming the truck that was tilt over. So how did he go to his truck? It's not making no sense. You know? This doesn't make no sense, man. It's not making no sense whatsoever, guys. He was told to go back to his truck. So how could he be filming the truck while claiming that his truck was tilt over too? That's another driver over there. So what's really going on here? This is confusing, man. When you said, have you ever heard of 360 cameras on trucks? All trucks have this. Use your intelligence. You trying to insult me? I hope that's not what you're trying to do, sir. Because if it's a 360 camera that's on the truck that's flipped over, why would he be using his cell phone? You're not making any sense. You know? The guy that is filming is the one who's saying that somebody flipped over his truck. You know, I am fully aware of how 360 cameras work. I'm a videographer, right? And I'm aware that all of these trucks have dash cams. My point is, the guy who is on TikTok, the one who's filming this, right here in this message is saying they run and go get 2 bulldozers and flipped my truck, my trailer. How could that be if you're the one filming? You know? This is not making any sense. So this can't be the guy who's filming from his cell phone. That can't be him. So we need to see this guy's footage. Where's his footage? Where's his receipts? Because the guy that posted it on TikTok, he's basically acting as if though he was harassed. And everybody's claiming that he was attacked by white men with guns. So we're hearing 2 different stories from 2 different men, but it sounds like the same guy. That's what's so confusing. Right? Where's the footage from the truck that was flipped over? The dash cam should still be running. And if it's running, it should be filming everything. You know? So he goes on and says, here is video of how they were aggressively treating me. I was scared to move because they kept saying something bad was going to happen to me. Well, isn't that what was told to the other guy? This is confusing. His videos of the sheriff. Now it says his videos of the sheriff assaulting my 2-month-old dog. Well, he didn't assault the 2-month-old dog. He closed in the door and didn't know the dog was there. So that's not going to work. He didn't assault the dog, letting me know that he was going to lock me up if I said another word. Can someone please let me know what should I do and who I should contact? I need some help now. You know? This is not making sense, man. We need to see more footage, more cameras to know what's really going on, man. Because it's like it's 2 different videos. Which truck are we seeing? Which camera angle are we seeing? Because based on these 2 videos, this camera view is showing another guy. And it's almost like he's speaking for the other guy. Like, this is just confusing, man. It sounds like it's the same guy, right? But it's 2 different guys. The guy with the flipped truck is the one that's talking. So how could the guy with the camera be posting the video unless he copied and pastes what the other guy said? This is why social media is so confusing and fake, because people be stealing other people's descriptions and post it on their page, and you think it's them, and it's not them, it's for somebody else. You know? So let me see this. Where we at? Because this is the TikTok page where everything was posted. He says on June 28th, on June 28th, 2025, I was doing a delivery, right, of mulch in Clyde, North Carolina, at a dump field called blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So how could he be the one doing the delivery, right, and experienced all of that if he's the one filming the truck that's flipped? It's not making sense, man. We need more videos, man. We need more videos. And why would he be filming with his cell phone if the truck is equipped with dash cams? Yeah, it could be rigged biased camera footage, because why don't they just show the footage from the truck? The truck documents everything. Every trucker know that when he on the road, everything is being documented. You know, even down to the way the trucker drives. So where's that footage? Now, let me give you some more info, guys, because y'all thought I was done. No, I'm not done. There was an article that was posted that shared. I'm going to kind of talk about it. I'm going to read it from the website, guys. So bear with me, right? Let me put this here. No, not that. Where is it? Yeah. Let me leave that like that so I can read. Be sure to click the like button, guys, if you're enjoying the stream. So, according to the article, it says truck driver says he was attacked and trailer flipped at TBD dump in Clyde by group of white men. Now, it has some info here. It says truck driver attacked by group of white men in Clyde, North Carolina. A black truck driver delivering mulch in Clyde, North Carolina says he was attacked by multiple men on June 28, 2025 at TBD Dump, aka Two Banks Development LLC, a local dump site. The driver, who goes by Bossed Up Entertainment on TikTok, posted 2 videos showing some of the shocking incident. What happened in Clyde? According to Boss Up TikTok caption, he arrived at the dump site 45 minutes early, not realizing the site did not open until 6:30 a.m. He says an employee approached him and explained that and also told him that truck drivers typically park up the street until the gate officially opens. After explaining it was his first time at the location and agreeing to go back and park up the street, Boss Up said the employee told him not to worry since they would be opening in 15 minutes. But things allegedly escalated when the owner's son pulled up and told him he would have to drive around and let other drivers go ahead of him since he was the first one that arrived, according to Bossed Up. After some back and forth, he followed instructions, confirmation, and alleged attack. According to Boss Up, after 20 minutes of waiting, the owner's son allegedly returns with 5 other men and a gun visible on his waistband. They accused Bossed Up of stealing a phone, and Bossed Up even allowed them to search his truck. After about 30 to 40 minutes of accusations, cameras were reportedly checked, and he was allowed to proceed. However, as he attempted to dump his load, the owner's son allegedly returned and claimed they found the phone outside his truck on the ground. Bossed Up said the owner's son, along with his friends and guns, started running after his truck. They run up and get 2 bulldozers and flipped my trailer and tipped my truck over, Boss Up said in his TikTok video. So now, it could be a situation where the video of the truck tilt over could be the guy's truck. Are y'all getting some sense of context while I'm reading? It could be that he's outside his truck looking at the scene, but it's not making sense because the other guy said they could sue you. They could sue you. So it is confusing, man. You know, let me see what else we got. All right, so let me put this on the screen, guys, because the company have issued a statement. The company issued a statement. Let's put that in context on the screen for you good people, because we want to make sure that we got all the information. I just got some breaking news. There's an active shooter. Let me get this news, guys. Hold on. Wait a minute. Breaking news. Active shooter prompts massive police response. Officers down and at least 1 civilian shot. This is happening in New York City, Manhattan, right now. Breaking news. There's an active shooting situation, but we'll probably talk about that later on. I just wanted to make sure I cover that in the algorithm. Okay, so let's put this on the screen. Where we at? Okay. Let's get this on the screen, guys. Bear with me. All right, so this is supposed to be like a public statement from the company, right? Public statement. It says Wright Brothers Construction Company Incorporated is aware of a video circulating on social media involving a confrontation of one of our project sites. The footage is upsetting and does not reflect the standard of professionalism and respect we expect on any job site where our name is represented. We want to be clear. The language and behavior displayed in the video are unacceptable. While not all individuals involved have been confirmed as Wright Brothers employees, we are actively investigating to determine the facts and the roles of those present. Preliminary accounts indicate that some of our employees attempted to de-escalate the situation when a member of the public arrived at an active construction zone, filming and refusing repeated requests to leave or lower their phone for safety reasons. Regardless of the circumstances, threats, harmful language, and any form of discrimination have no place on our projects or within our company. We are taking immediate steps to identify those involved, assess any violations of our code of conduct, and apply disciplinary actions where appropriate. Wright Brothers Constructions is committed to fostering a work environment and public presence built on respect, accountability, and integrity. We are initiating additional training for our supervisory personnel focused on conflict resolution, peaceful communication, and maintaining professionalism in difficult situations. So that right there is pretty much a public statement from the company. Now, you know, like I said, guys, we're not excusing any of the language or any of the behavior of any personnel within that company. If they violated policy and code of ethics, they need to be disciplined and dealt with. But, you know, I've seen people making posts saying they need to be put in prison, they need to be doing this and all this other stuff, and they turn it into a race issue. And I don't agree with all of that. You know, nobody pulled guns on people. We need to see more videos, more context, you know, especially the videos with the bulldozers knocking over the truck. Because if they did that, then now the police need to be called, and that would be criminal because now you're putting lives in danger. So if bulldozers was really used, then that could be an issue. But here's another thing. It could have been a situation where possibly, this is just alleged, so don't quote me on it, it's just alleged. It could be a situation where the trucker may have drove in an environment where it put one of the workers in a situation where the bulldozers had to be used to move the truck or tilt the truck in a way, and it made the truck tilt over. So there got to be context, guys. It got to be context. It could have been a situation where a worker probably was pinned or something. They drove over somebody, something happened, and they used the trucks to move the truck over so they could get to the guy, because we did see a man with a hand that appeared to show blood that he was injured. So again, we need more context to the circumstances of this video, you know? But yeah. Let me see. Run 'em Up says, looked like the truck fell and they didn't want anyone to know. Could have been that too. It could have been a lot of situations, man. The truck could have been on a hillside where it tilted. It could have been, I don't know. But then again, if you look at the way the truck is leaning, it's not on a hillside where it could fall over anymore. So it's leaning on something. It's leaning on a hill, clearly. Right? But how did it get there? That's what I want to know. How do we know that the bulldozers did, in fact, knock the truck over? Because we do see a bulldozer in the front. So, you know, this got to be crazy, man. It's crazy the way this thing's looking. We need more footage to show more context, because if not, we're going to have these YouTubers making these fake videos deceiving people. So if you see anybody making videos, guys, about this story claiming this was a sundown town and white racists attack black man, truckers beware, all of that type of nonsense. Those content creators are just pushing lies. This is the best breakdown of this video. I tried to break it down as best as I could. The company put out a public statement, so they're investigating. And you know, if somebody was out of pocket, they're gonna be dealt with. You know, because they said that the actions of those that were you know, being rude and disrespectful, that it doesn't represent the company. So they're gonna do what they got to do, and people will be dealt with. But let's not be too quick to throw the race card around, because we have enough drama going on in the world, and everybody on YouTube is trying to make race issues. I mean, it started on TikTok. If you go to TikTok, this story is all over TikTok. Like, it's just crazy. Bunch of fake news, fabrications of lies, false narratives. This is what people do for clicks and views. You know, over here, we actually focus on the facts and we break down everything, you know? So we're going to get up on out of here, guys. I appreciate y'all stopping by. You know, make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Do I believe the white men in the video are racist? No. I don't believe they're racist. I believe that they're just pissed off about something, and there needs to be more context to this so that we can really verify what's going on, because it was a heated situation. Something happened. You know, there have been times I was on the job, man, and nearly got in a bad situation because co-workers weren't doing their job. You know, there have been some bad situations that happened, man, where nearly lost a finger and lost my hand because somebody did something stupid. You know, I remember there was one time where this guy had a sawzall, and it's a tool that you use for cutting pipes. Like, you cut them in half and stuff like that. And I remember he had the tool and he had it on, and like literally the tool was pointing out at people walking by. I'm like, yo, bro, what the hell you doing, man? You don't have tools in your hand on and people are right next to you walking around. You want to cut somebody, man, cut somebody's arm off. So there's a lot of people that just don't know how to follow safety precautions, man. I always focused on safety first, always wore proper PPE, and always train other workers on the importance of doing their job and not put nobody in danger, man. You know, there have been situations of people getting locked in crawl spaces, man, like no joke. You know, there's a lot of company policies that says when you're in a confined space, number one, there's supposed to be somebody at the exit. Somebody's supposed to always be posted at the exit to make sure that the door remains open, and so that if there's an emergency, you can call personnel. Also, when entering a confined space, you should have at least 2 people in the confined space so that if something happened to one, the other is able to radio and get help for the other partner. But there have been situations where people went into a crawl space and somebody locked the door and locked them literally in a crawl space. And if the person didn't have a cell phone with them, we wouldn't know. They'll end up dead in that space, and then people end up getting in trouble. Memos were given and disciplinary action was taken. You know, people had to undergo more training. That's why anytime when I was at the 9 to 5, I would always tell the supervisor, man, put me with people that do their job. You know what I mean? I had to go inside of boilers, man, to clean combustion chambers. And I had to trust that nobody ain't gonna lock me inside the boiler and turn the boiler on. So when I would do my job, they would always do something called lockout tagout. How many of y'all are familiar with lockout tagout? Normally we use that when we're dealing with electrical stuff, and we put a lockout tagout tag so that nobody don't turn back on the power to kill us. So when it came to entering boilers, you said, what's that? Lockout tagout is like, it's this thing that you put over like a switch or something along those lines to let other personnel know that work is being done and they're not to touch it, you know, so that it's a safety mechanism. And we hardly ever used it until certain situations. Matter of fact, let me make sure I correct that. A lot of us that would be working, right? And this is just me being honest, right? A lot of us that would be working at the site, because we know our jobs so much, we would just be doing jobs. But you're supposed to put the lockout tag out there. You're supposed to, especially if there's nobody there around. But being that we're all there and it's a bunch of guys, we all know we're all working. So it's like we looking out for each other. So we never had no issues. But there have been times when I would be working alone and I know that nobody else is there. So I would put the lockout tag out there for my safety, because I know that if another worker come in, he might turn on this boiler while I'm in there, you know? So I would make sure I do the proper job things that I'm supposed to do to cover myself. And there have been times where I was in a boiler. This is no cap. I'm in a boiler, guys. And the damn worker come from around the other side and close in the damn boiler while I'm in there, fam. And I had to take the pipe wrench and start banging so that they could open the damn door. I'm in the boiler. And those workers got in major trouble. Police called, all sorts of stuff, man, because you could have killed me. So what I did at the job site is anytime I was working in a boiler in a confined space to do overhaul and clean soot and all that other stuff, I would take the door off of the rear of the boiler. I would take the door completely off. I would just take it off the boiler. And I let my supervisor know, I'm like, I'm not overhauling boilers with, the door. Because I used to chain, first of all, I would just keep the door. And then I started to chain the door with a lock. And then I just didn't feel safe. So I took the door completely off the boiler, for my own safety. And I would lock out, tag off the boiler. I would take off all the safeties. I would take everything off. So in order for somebody to turn that on, they would have to do 10 different things to turn it on. And that was the way I was able to do my job safe. Because people would be doing stupid stuff on the job, And I was a veteran at the job. But when you have new workers, they don't know what they're doing. So at this location where this incident happened, sometimes people lose their cool. Sometimes they get angry. And normally when people get angry, something happened. That's why I want to know what's the full context of what happened with this story. Something happened that made these guys get pissed. That's what I want to know. It could have been that somebody probably nearly got killed, run over. Because when I almost got caught up at the job, I flipped on the worker. I flipped on him. You know what I mean? I wanted to really beat him up, but then I would end up losing my job. But ain't nothing wrong with flipping out a little bit, And like I said, in the workplace with the guys, we would damn near go to fighting one another, but we would never bring it to supervision. We kept it between us. We would argue, cuss, flip out on one another, and then we would handle it like men behind the scenes and chop it up, and it would be cool after that. So I think that's what this situation is. Something happened. It got heated. If you're at the job site, all the workers are going to come together. That's just the way it is at the work site. So whoever that guy is that filmed, something happened, and we're just not getting the full story. So maybe the full story will come out as we go. So that's my take on this. I think it was fair and balanced. I'm not here to pull the race card. I'm not here to say anything. Now, yes, the guy was disrespected. He was called out of his name, all of that stuff. That doesn't represent the company. So he needs to be held accountable for that as a worker. But at the same time, I want to know the full context so we can know why that truck was tilted over by those bulldozers. Now, we didn't see it happen, but we see the video, still image of it. So something happened, right? Let me see. Somebody says, I remember when I was going through the training at Mars Chocolate Factory, they would show us clips of people, I guess, got fried in the boilers to prevent us from falling into that situation. Yeah, there's a lot of safety issues, man, that people don't listen. People died at the workplace where I was, man. People died. You understand? People died because they didn't know how to do their job. Very, very serious, man. When you're dealing with machines, I was around serious equipment and machines that can kill you. And I took every safety precaution that I could, even created some of my own, you know, even created some of my own, bro. Like one of the safety things that I did that was kind of crazy is the steps where you would walk down. I didn't just make it where you could just walk down. I put a chain there. I put a chain with a sign, like meaning it's locked. You have to go under the chain, but I would put a chain and I'll put a lock saying work's being done in boiler chamber. Don't touch nothing. Sign the log book. Like I had to make you know, because people walk in places and they don't use their brains and people end up getting hurt, you know, badly, losing limbs, all sorts of stuff, getting blinded by chemicals, you know, it's crazy stuff, man. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get up on out of here. It is what it is. Yeah, the whole objective is to get back home to your loved ones. Yeah. That's why when I was at the 9 to 5, when I was at the job, I always try to make sure the new workers get properly trained to do the job correctly, because I didn't play when it came to company policy. I followed everything by the books, because the OGs that was working there that pretty much showed me the ropes, I got basically the best knowledge and hands-on training from, you know, the workers that been there before me. And I tried to instill those values in others on how it's about getting home safe. You know, there's a lot of workers that left the job in body bags. You know, people that died on the job, people that lost limbs, people that got burned. Yeah, some real crazy stuff. You know, we used to have to work with chemicals, and you would have to wear your PPE, your hand gloves, your gargles, all of that other stuff. And people would want to do it without the safety gear. And one guy did it and it splashed and went into his eyes. You know what I mean? The chemicals went into his eyes and burnt him up real bad. You know, some people got stuff on their hand and it burnt up their skin. You're dealing with deadly chemicals, you know? And it's so crazy. I had some of those chemicals in the house here that I kept as a souvenir and whatnot from when I left the job. You know, not when I left. They got rid of me due to the whole pandemic thing, because I didn't want to take the that potion injection that they were giving out. But I had kept some of those chemicals and I had thrown them away. I was going to do a video with some of those chemicals so people could see, but I don't really care. I'm going to be posting old video clips of the old job site soon, because, you know, I got a lot of video. But nonetheless, guys, we'll keep you posted on this story. We'll try to look for more news. You know, it happened in June, but they're now talking about it. You know, I want to see more video to find out more context, because they're basically saying that North Carolina is racist and these racists did this, and they're just making it all bad and twisting the narrative to create hate, you know? Yes, there are racists in the world. Yes, there are racists in North Carolina, but everybody that's white is not a racist, right? We got to stop this mess. Do white people probably talk about blacks and say N-words behind closed doors? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do, but I don't really care. I'm not butthurt like everybody else, you know what I mean? I don't really care about all of that type of stuff. What I don't like is black racists. Black racism, I don't like. And I don't like people that mock the dead. I don't like people that use situations like this to create hate and paranoia and cause people to be divided. I don't like that type of stuff, because I got all different types of people that watch my platform, and all are welcome to watch. I'm not here to be racist. I'm not here to bash white people or bash black people. I'm here to talk about the stories and break them down so that we can get knowledge and understanding on what's going on in the world, how to be better people, and how to respond to life issues. It's just the way it is, guys. That's pretty much what I do, right? So we're going to get up on out of here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next video. Shout out to the moderator, Caramel Kimmy Kim in the building. What's going on? And salute to all the members, all the viewers, everybody in the clouds, everybody that subscribed to the channel. Be sure to share the videos, guys. We really need your help in sharing the content. That's how we are able to grow. You know, it's very important. But y'all have a blessed day. I'll be back on later with more content. Ringo TV Reactions salute you. I'm out of here. Y'all take care. Peace and blessings. We out. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw and uncut.